In this video, we're going to discuss the use of these columns year to date and quarter to date in BSC Designer Online. First of all, let's see how we can configure these columns that we have here on the Keypads tab. To do this, I need to open any scorecard like I have here, and then I need to go to this Tools menu and select Columns options. In this dialog, I can set up the visible columns, and right now I have this year-to-date for progress, value, and target. I also can visualize for the baseline if I need. And by using these buttons, I actually can configure the visible columns, and I can change the order of these columns that I have in my scorecard. Okay, so what these columns tell me. Let's see, using an example of some indicator. I have here two indicators, sales and customer satisfaction. First of all, here I have set up for sales indicator. I have some values for every month. I have target and max values that are set here. And I also see this inheritance option is turned on. So basically this 14,000 target will be replicated to every month. Let's check it. If I click on January, I have here some value and target is 14,000. And if I click on the next date, the value changes, but the target still remains the same. So basically in this way we tell to the software that target for every month is 40,000. So another thing that we have set up here in this grouping by, which is now set to sum of changed. We have this option. And what does it tell to the software? It tells that it should, to calculate an aggregated value, it should calculate the sum of this value. And as well for target, it should calculate the this sum of this value plus the same value here, the same value here, because we have inheritance turned on. So that's exactly what we see in the these Y2D columns. So the target Y2D is actually the 14,000 multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 8. Yeah, so that's what we see in this Y2D column. What about value Y2D? The value Y2D is, again, it's sum of all these values. Yeah, so that's what we see here. And using this data, the software is now able to calculate the year-to-date progress using the current accumulated value and current target value. It is able to tell us how we're going in terms of annual progress. So this progress column shows me the progress for this month. Let's see, for example, let's pick some months where we are approaching 14,000. For example, here I have 12,000, target is 40,000, and I see that my progress is 85. But on the whole scale for the year, my progress is 64 probably because I had these small values here in the beginning. So if we will going to change these values, let's put here some very large value. I see that actually by putting this large value, I have overcame the progress for the current month, and I have reached the annual progress for this year. So that's how it worked. It works for the indicators that are grouped by sum of changed. But of course, there are some other indicators. I have here customer satisfaction as an example. And let's look at this indicator. The setup is similar. The default in this case is actually inherited values. And instead of grouping by sum, I'm grouping by average. So what does it mean? Again, the software looks at all these values and calculates average, and it looks at all target values, 85, 85, so average will be again 85. Okay, so in this case, I see that, for example, for August, my current value is more than target. So for August, my progress is 107%. And here is my overall progress in terms of reaching the goal of 85. I see that my accumulated value for this period for year is 83. My target value is 85, and my current progress is 98. So that's how this logic works in BSC Designer. Again, to set up the columns, you go to Tools, Columns. And as you can see, here you can set up columns for quarters as well. So if you prefer to see not a Y2D, but quarter to date, then you can just move these columns and focus on the quarter to date. If the setup for inheritance for grouping sounds something confusing for you, I do recommend to check out the videos where we explain in detail how to work with these two settings for the indicators. Actually, when you master them, it will be really clear. So, okay, I think this is enough for this video. Should you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with our customer support team.